Welcome to this English listening lesson. Today, I want to share with you a story that is not only about business, but also about resilience, determination, and the power of never giving up. This is the story of Soichiro Honda, the founder of Honda Motor Company, and how his persistence created one of the most famous car and motorcycle manufacturers in the world. As you listen, pay attention to the words, repeat them if you like, and try to notice how ideas are connected. This is not just a business story, it is a story of resilience. And resilience means the ability to keep moving forward, even when things go wrong. By the end, I hope you will not only improve your English listening skills, but also feel inspired to face your own challenges with more courage. Soichiro Honda was born in Japan in 1906. He was not born into wealth. His father was a blacksmith, working with metal, repairing tools, and later bicycles. His mother was a weaver. Together, they lived a simple life. From an early age, Soichiro loved machines. He once saw a car pass through his village when he was a child, and that moment changed his life. Imagine a boy standing in a dusty street, watching a machine he had never seen before, making noise, moving fast. It looked almost like magic. From that day, he decided he wanted to work with machines. The important part is that he did not wait for opportunities to arrive. He learned by doing, experimenting, failing, and trying again. That is the beginning of resilience. At the age of 15, Soichiro left home to work as an apprentice in a garage in Tokyo. His job was not glamorous. He cleaned floors, fetched tools, and did small tasks. But he watched, listened, and learned. He paid close attention to how engines worked, how parts connected, and how cars were repaired. Eventually, he became skilled at repairing cars himself. What can we learn from this? Sometimes the beginning of success looks very small, even humble. Resilience begins with patience, learning, and not being afraid to start at the bottom. Soichiro did not complain about the hard work. Instead, he embraced it as the first step to something greater. After years of working in garages and learning, Honda started his own small company, making piston rings for car engines. This was his big dream. He wanted his parts to be sold to Toyota, a rising car company in Japan at that time. But when he showed Toyota his first designs, they rejected them. His product was not good enough. Many people would have stopped there. But Soichiro did not give up. He studied, redesigned, and tried again. He even returned to school to learn more about engineering, something he had not completed earlier. The second time, Toyota accepted his piston rings. This was a huge victory. But life was not done testing his resilience. During World War II, tragedy struck. His factory was bombed twice, destroying everything he had built. Later, an earthquake hit and ruined the remaining parts of his business. Working so hard, finally achieving your dream, and then losing it all. Many people would give up at this point. But Soichiro Honda saw disaster as a challenge. Instead of sitting in despair, he started thinking, what next? That is resilience, the ability to rise again when life knocks you down. After the war, Japan was in ruins. The economy was broken, resources were scarce, and people were struggling to survive. Honda too had lost almost everything. But one day, he had an idea. He attached a small engine to his bicycle to help him move around faster. Soon his neighbors noticed. They asked him to make engines for their bicycles as well. This was not planned. It was born out of necessity. From this simple idea, Honda Motor Company began. It did not start as a giant corporation. It started with bicycles and tiny engines built in a small workshop with very limited tools. This teaches us that resilience is not always about holding on to the past. Sometimes, resilience is about adapting and finding new opportunities in a changing world. At first, Honda's company was very small. They made motorized bicycles, then small motorcycles. People loved them because they were affordable, reliable, and useful in a country that was rebuilding after war. But Honda was not satisfied. He always believed in improvement, in innovation, in making things better. His philosophy was simple. Success is 99% failure. He knew that mistakes were not the end, but lessons for the future. For English learners, think of this philosophy like your practice. Each mistake in speaking is not a failure. It is a step closer to fluency. Honda motorcycles became popular not only in Japan, but also abroad. In the 1950s and 1960s, Honda started exporting motorcycles to Europe and America. At first, people laughed at these small Japanese motorcycles. In America, people liked big, heavy bikes, not small ones, but Honda marketed them cleverly. They advertised with the slogan, "You meet the nicest people on a Honda." This changed the image of motorcycles from being associated with danger to being seen as fun, friendly, and family-oriented. Resilience here was not just about building machines, it was about changing perceptions, changing culture, and finding creative ways to succeed. In 1963, Honda entered the car industry. Many people thought he was foolish. Competing against established companies like Toyota, Nissan, and Western manufacturers seemed impossible. But Honda did not let fear stop him. He believed in his vision. His first cars were small, affordable, and fuel-efficient, designed for everyday people, not just the wealthy. This was a bold move. He once said, "I do not care about the rules. I want to break the rules and create something new." That spirit of resilience pushed him forward when others doubted him. One of Honda's most famous achievements was winning in Formula One racing. Many critics thought Honda, a small Japanese company, could never beat the powerful European teams. But in 1965, Honda won its first Formula One Grand Prix. This was more than just a race. It was proof of resilience, innovation, and belief in dreams. It showed the world that a company born from bicycle engines could compete at the highest level of technology and performance. For English learners, the lesson is simple. No matter how small your beginnings, with resilience and consistent effort, you can reach the top. The story of Honda is not only about building machines, it is about building character. Soichiro Honda faced rejection, war, destruction, and countless failures. Yet, he always came back stronger. When Toyota rejected him, he improved. When war destroyed his factory, he started again with bicycles. When people laughed at his small motorcycles, he changed their minds. Each obstacle became a stepping stone. This is the heart of resilience, not avoiding problems, but facing them with creativity and persistence. For language learners like you, think about this story in relation to your own studies. Maybe you have tried to speak English and people laughed. Maybe you listened to English and felt it was too fast. Maybe you took a test and failed. But remember, Honda's philosophy: success is built on failure. Each time you try, you are closer to your goal. Like Honda building piston rings again and again, you must practice again and again. Resilience in language learning means never quitting, no matter how many mistakes you make. Another important lesson from Honda's story is innovation. Resilience is not just stubbornness. It is not only about trying the same thing over and over, it is about adapting, changing, and finding new solutions. When Honda's factory was destroyed, he did not rebuild the same business. He saw bicycles and engines as the future. When motorcycles seemed unpopular, he changed the way people thought about them. For learners, this means trying different strategies. If one method of study is not working, try another. Read, listen, speak, write. Use all the tools available. Resilience means being flexible. Honda's story also teaches us humility. Even though he became successful, he never forgot his beginnings. He often said that he was just a mechanic, just a man who loved machines. He did not see himself as a genius. He saw himself as someone who made mistakes, learned from them, and kept going. This attitude is important in life and in learning. If you think you must be perfect, you will quit when you fail. But if you accept that failure is normal, you will keep going. And that is resilience. Today, Honda is one of the biggest car and motorcycle manufacturers in the world. They produce millions of vehicles each year, used by people in every country. But behind this global success is the story of one man who refused to give up. His story continues to inspire entrepreneurs, engineers, and ordinary people around the world. For you, as an English learner, the message is clear. Your journey may be long, full of mistakes and struggles, but if you keep going, you will succeed. Resilience is the bridge between failure and success. So, what is resilience in simple words? Resilience means strength in difficult times. It means flexibility when life changes. It means hope when things look dark. Soichiro Honda showed resilience again and again. He could have stopped after rejection. He could have stopped after bombs destroyed his factory. He could have stopped when people laughed at his products. But he did not. He chose to continue. That choice made the difference. The same is true for you. Your choice to continue learning, to continue practicing, to continue believing will make the difference in your English journey. As you listen to this story, try to repeat some key phrases. Resilience means not giving up. Failure is part of success. Adapt and move forward. These sentences are not only English practice but also life lessons. When you speak them aloud, you train both your tongue and your mind. You become stronger in language and stronger in spirit. This is the power of listening and repeating. Another exercise you can do is to summarize this story in your own words. Try to explain to a friend or even to yourself what you learned about Honda. For example, you can say, Honda failed many times, but he never gave up. Or, Honda started with bicycles and became a car manufacturer. These sentences may sound simple, but they help you build confidence in speaking English, and they remind you of the lesson of resilience. Finally, think about your own life. Where do you need resilience? Is it in your studies, your job, your relationships? Every person faces difficulties, but the question is, how will you respond? Will you stop, or will you continue like Honda did? Remember, resilience is not something you are born with. It is something you build, step by step, through practice, through mistakes, and through persistence. If Honda could rise from nothing to create a worldwide company, you can rise too in your own journey. Let us close this lesson with a reminder. English learning is not easy, but it is possible. Like the story of Honda, your path will have failures, but those failures will teach you. Resilience is the secret. Keep listening, keep practicing, keep moving forward. That is how you will grow, not only in English, but in life. Thank you for listening to this story of what they call resilience, the story of Honda. Repeat it, reflect on it, and let it inspire you.